Whatever you do, make sure you visit ashkicking.com for your home fragrance, health, and beauty needs. Quality products at a great price.
This is Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? You know, since you guys have really been enjoying the radio show, I wanted to remind you to tune in to Sunday's live show, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, around 5 or 5:05. All right? Now, we also may be doing a separate show on Monday because I'm supposed to have a special guest in the studio so he can announce his fight coming up, which is a pretty good fight, local fight out here. You guys know who it is, but we'll talk more about it, once I get him in the studio. With that out the way, let's get into the news. Once again, that's 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time this Sunday. Okay, with that out the way, let's go ahead and get into the news. You know, Keith Thurman, he brought up a very, very interesting point and a challenge on top of that. And of course, he exposed more hypocrisy in the sport of boxing. In fact, I was actually looking for my interview that I did with Keith Thurman when I brought this to his attention that they have Manny Pacquiao ranked as number 1 above you. What do you think about it? And I was going to include that in this video. Now, what's so crazy about me asking Keith Thurman that question is when I asked Keith that question, that was a year ago, before Keith Thurman beat Sean Porter. So way before he beat Danny Garcia, which was the fight he just had recently, right? So not only did they have Manny Pacquiao, or some organizations in the media, so not only did some of these websites have Manny Pacquiao rated as number 1 back then, but to add insult to injury, some of them still have Manny Pacquiao rated as the number 1 welterweight today. Now we're gonna get into the hypocrisy of it all, but first let me go ahead and quote what Keith Thurman had to say about this on his Instagram. I'm the only welterweight in the world that holds 2 world titles, and he's still ranked above me. So at the end of the day, man, we want that Pac-Man fight. Hashtag one time. End quote. Now let's just go ahead and talk about the hypocrisy of all of this. One more time, let me reiterate. You had media members that were ranking Pacquiao number 1, the best welterweight in the world, a year ago, way before Keith Thurman, he beat Sean Porter and Danny Garcia and became a unified welterweight champion, right? And some of the biggest boxing websites are still rating Manny Pacquiao as the number 1 welterweight in the world. Matter of fact, here's one right here. This is a little snapshot of Boxrec.com. Now, Boxrec.com is supposed to be one of the most reputable websites, boxing websites, in the world. And it's a great website for looking up fighters' boxing records. So they have, and when I seen this, I started to almost say to myself, wait a minute, maybe this is just old. Maybe, this was, and you know what? You guys, if I'm tripping, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but all I did was Google boxing ratings, and this was one of the websites that popped up. It was like one of the first that popped up. I went to welterweights, and this is exactly what I seen. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do a quick look up real quick. I'm gonna, while I'm talking to you guys right now, just to, double check and make sure I'm not just tripping. I'm about to do this while I'm doing this video right now. Okay, I'm going to the website directly because once again, that screenshot I'm showing you guys, that was through Google, excuse me. So let me go ahead and see. All right, I'm gonna type in welterweights, but obviously if Keith Thurman, just said it, it must be accurate. But we just want to make sure it's accurate. Yep, there it is. Okay, so I'm not tripping. So they have Manny Pacquiao, as you guys see on the screen. This is 100% accurate when it comes to what Boxrec has on their website. They have Manny Pacquiao listed as number 1, the best welterweight in the whole wide world. I want you guys to just think about this for a second. If I told you that this college basketball team or this college football team was the number one team, the number one seed in the nation, what would that lead you to believe? That would lead you to believe that they are the best because of their record, because of the other teams that they have beat, because of how dominant that they have been, etc., 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 right? So you guys have to understand this is exactly what websites like Boxrec or Boxrec and other websites, because it's not just Boxrec, it's a couple other ones out there. Now, there are a lot of boxing websites that actually have the right person as number one, which probably should be Keith Thurman, because just like he said, he's the only welterweight champion right now with 2 welterweight belts. He's the only unified champion, right? Now, let me go back to my football reference, college football, basketball, when we were talking about being the number one seed in the nation. Now, when they list the basketball football team as the number one team in the nation, it's just in the country. But when Boxrec and other websites list Manny Pacquiao as the best, they're not just listing him as the best in the country, they're listing him as the best in the world. So here's where the hypocrisy comes in. If Manny Pacquiao is considered the best in the world over fighters like Keith Thurman, Kell Brook, Errol Spence, and the list just goes on and on and on, how do you at the same time use excuses for when Manny Pacquiao lost to Floyd Mayweather by saying that Manny Pacquiao, oh, he was old. Oh, that Manny Pacquiao was old. He was over the hill. He was faded. Oh, Floyd Mayweather waited till he got old before he fought him, etc., etc., etc. It makes no damn sense. So in other words, decafs and certain members of the media, certain decafs of the media, they are trying to have it both ways. You see, the truth is really something else. Because what the truth forces you to do eventually is either come out and tell the truth, or it forces you to contradict yourself. And this was a classic case of members of the media and decafs in general being forced to contradict themselves, simply because they're trying to find a way to give Manny Pacquiao credit without giving Floyd Mayweather the credit. So in other words, they want to give Manny Pacquiao some credit, but they want to try to figure out how they can do it without giving Mayweather any credit, and it's impossible. It's impossible without looking like a hypocrite, right? That's like trying to give all the credit to the team that lost the Super Bowl while not giving any credit to the team that actually won the Super Bowl. How does that make any sense? That's what they're doing in this Manny Pacquiao situation. So whenever Floyd Mayweather's name is not attached to Manny Pacquiao's name, now we can call Manny Pacquiao the number one seed in the world, the best welterweight in the world. Oh, but if you attach his name to Floyd Mayweather's, that Manny Pacquiao was washed up, he was old, he was faded. And by the way, just to, give you guys some facts, I actually interviewed Freddie Roach, where Freddie Roach, he admitted and told me on camera, along with other members of the media, he told us this, and he said this about 2 years ago, that it was Manny Pacquiao's fault that the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight never happened in 2008. Why? Because Manny Pacquiao did not want to take Olympic-style drug testing. He didn't want to do random-style drug testing. And it took the man 8 years to change his mind on doing Olympic-style random drug testing to get the Mayweather fight. Now, on top of Freddie Roach spilling the beans and telling us that, he also said that I believe Bob Arum wants Mayweather-Pacquiao, or I should say, he believes that Bob Arum wants Mayweather to be Manny Pacquiao's last fight or last opponent. And that is pretty much what happened, because after Manny Pacquiao lost to Floyd Mayweather, he talked about retiring. Okay? We know he fought Tim Bradley, but shortly after all of that, he talked about retiring. Now, speaking of Tim Bradley, once again, as long as Manny Pacquiao is not in the ring with Floyd Mayweather, when he fought against Tim Bradley, when he beat him or fought him a third time, the same reporters, the same writers, the same decals that were saying Floyd Mayweather waited till Manny Pacquiao got old and he was faded, etc., those same people, when Manny Pacquiao beat Tim Bradley, they then said, that's the best Manny Pacquiao we have seen in years and years and years, right? So once again, as long as Manny Pacquiao's name is not synonymous with Floyd Mayweather's name at the time, then Manny Pacquiao is number one in the world. Manny Pacquiao, that's the greatest Manny Pacquiao we've seen in years, etc. So at the end of the day, we know what time it is. We know Keith Thurman, he called out Manny Pacquiao, and we know there's no way Manny Pacquiao would even think of getting in the ring with a Keith Thurman. I mean, this is the same man who told us he was going to move down to 140, and soon as Bob Arum put pressure on Manny Pacquiao to take the Terrence Crawford fight, which is the best fighter at 140, that's when Manny Pacquiao said he wasn't interested in fighting Terrence Crawford at 140, or any division for that case, right? Now, matter of fact, let's go ahead and look at, since I already have this on the screen, let's go ahead and look at what other names they have below Manny Pacquiao's name. Let's also look at how many fighters they have listed and rated above Kell Brook and Errol Spence. So as you see right here, below Keith Thurman, you have Danny Garcia, or they have Danny Garcia, I should say. Then it's Amir Khan, Sean Porter, then it's Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson, then Errol Spence. So just over Kell Brook alone, they have Sean Porter, Amir Khan, and Danny Garcia rated above Kell Brook. And of course, Errol Spence. And at the end of the day, the number one seed in the world, Manny Pacquiao, is ranked above all of them. So, unfortunately, I have to say good luck to Keith Thurman when it comes to trying to pursue a fight against the number one fighter in the world at the welterweight division, Manny Pacquiao. We know it ain't gonna happen. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Hi, you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Woo! Hey. Yeah.